Everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric on a continuing series, the Unported playlist, where I take a look at some of my favorite unported arcade games of all time, and today we're taking a look at Guardians by Banpresto. It's also known as Denjinmakai II. It's the sequel to a game that was ported, so it'll never show up on this list. But it's an absolutely fantastic beat-em-up. It's one of my favorites of all time, and because it was never ported to a home console, you're watching it now. Before we get too far involved, though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we have a Patreon link down below in the description as well. But I absolutely love Guardians. It's one of my favorite beat-em-ups of all time. It is just from start to finish an outstanding game, but it's one that I really don't hear mentioned that much, which is very strange to me because everyone loves beat-em-ups, and if they've never played this game before and they did, I think they'd be talking a lot about it. But right off the top you can see everything is bright and colorful, the character and enemy sprites are huge, everything's running at 60 frames a second. But my favorite part about Guardians is the combo system. You will see on screen time and time again that we have a new record for our combo. And depending on how you move your control stick, you're able to pull off different moves. If you double tap it, you're going to start running, and depending on what direction you hold the control stick when you make impact with an enemy, you will execute a different move. Now, I absolutely hate hitting the dogs. The noise they make just makes me feel bad, but that's a random aside. But this is a really deep beat 'em up. It isn't just move right, punch, kick, jump, and go on about your way. But the personality that this game has is absolutely incredible as well. You'll see as we're here to the first boss, he gets up, there's a cameraman, people are plotting him, and somehow he randomly grows extra muscles like he is just infected by the T-virus from Umbrella Corporation. But this game just has a little bit of everything. The core gameplay is absolutely outstanding, and the combo system just adds so many layers to your overall attacks. The graphics are great, the music is great, it's the perfect length that mixes everything up and gives you different things to do after you feel like you've been playing a beat 'em up for a little bit too long. And I love that the cameraman, everything that you're doing is mirrored on that monitor and back. There's so many tiny little details in Guardians that really blink if you miss some moments. You can clearly tell the developers of this game really cared for the property and wanted to make one of the best games they possibly could, and I say they 100% succeeded with Guardians. And I don't understand why this game isn't mentioned that much. If you look at a list of best beat-em-ups of all time, rarely does Guardians ever show up, at least the list I'm reading. Maybe you're reading different ones, and I just think that's totally unfortunate. You'll see there at a 4 combo record. You can really combo in this game. It kind of feels almost like a beat 'em up put together with a fighting game, kind of like King of the Monsters for the Neo Geo, except better than that, because that's just a one-on-one wrestling game and it's not great, but it kind of reminds me of that. But there's just so many enemies on screen at once, there's always something happening. The hardware they were using for this did an absolutely outstanding job of rendering 2D sprites. You have giant things in the background, your opponents are huge, everything about it is just A+ effort, and that's what I can really say about Guardians, is that it's a special game. It's absolutely one of the best beat 'em ups of all time, and I will continue to say that throughout the entire video, because this is one of those games that I want you to play if you never have. And I know I show a lot of videos on Unported playlists and the channel in general and say if you've never checked this out, you definitely should, but this is one of those top tier games where if you've never played it, please finish watching the video, but afterwards, go and download it, play it however you can. And like I mentioned earlier, the game does like to mix things up every once in a while. Now we have this on-rails turret section. You can't really get hurt, but it gives you just something extra to do, and that's like maybe like 7 or 8 minutes into the overall game. So when you feel like you've been playing a decent amount of beat 'em up, you get like a minute and a half of just something else happening. But I love that googly-eyed guy in the background saying it's 1.5 miles to something. This game has a ton of personality in the same vein as something like Ninja Baseball Batman. It's colorful, it's weird, you have that flying fish. It's just doing everything it can to give you a really big amount of visual flair. And even the bosses are great. Some I don't quite understand. This samurai turns into a log with his kimono on, and maybe somebody in the comments can tell me if that is a traditional Japanese thing for a bad guy to turn into a log, but whatever is going on, I just love it. He turns into 6 different opponents, and you have to kind of guess which direction he's going. So there's definitely, for you beat 'em up, a little bit of boss strategy, but I would say this game's actually not the most difficult thing in the world either. It's quite fair. The bosses aren't just going to take multiple credits off you. Usually when you get hurt in this game, it is because you didn't do the right job. But as good as this game looks, and as incredible as this game plays, it also sounds amazing too, minus those dog sound effects. Don't feel bad for them. But go ahead and listen to Guardians for about a minute. I'll come back and tell you more why. If there's one game I can convince you to play after watching a video, it's this one. But enjoy. Yeah, I just absolutely love the soundtrack, and it marries perfectly to the visuals. I know a lot of times you guys want me to use a different character when I'm playing these games, so I did switch over to Kuranghi, and I absolutely cannot stand her. I have a main character for the game, that's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to go right back to them as soon as she dies. But interestingly, this uses a hardware platform that I have not yet covered on the channel. That's the SATA 2nd generation, but it is using an all-in-one big body Motorola 68000, so it's basically the same processor that almost half of arcade boards used around the same time period. But as you see, you get further on into the game, it just gets more fun and weirder. You have these giant crocodile creatures with the human opponents in the background with the giant cod pieces on. It's just a really weird look, but it 100% works for the game itself. You're always going to be seeing something new, something weird, something unique, and you're always going to want to continue to play forward to see what the next thing is, because now we have these robot mantis shrimp. That's the best way to describe them. I think I'm pretty accurate, but it just makes you want to see, who am I going to be fighting next? And that's a genius design decision from the developers, because beat 'em ups by nature are repetitive. You just continually beat people up until you beat the game, but so many beat 'em ups keep recycling the same enemies level after level, so by the time you're at the end of the game, you feel like you've been seeing the same thing for way too long. Guardians is constantly giving you new opponents to face. Of course, they are going to recycle some of the lower level guys as fodder, but you're constantly going to be seeing something new and fun, and that really makes you want to continue to play. It's the highest compliment I can pay to this game, is that every time I play it, I usually take a few years off, I always fondly remember what's going on, and I keep enjoying seeing characters and how strange they really are, because now we have these two yellow guys that kind of look like extras from a Resident Evil game, and everything just keeps getting more and more fun. But again, this is just the whole entire package when it comes to beat 'em ups. The combo system just adds so many layers of expertise and depth to the overall experience, and you have 7 different characters you can play as, so you have a lot of options as to who you enjoy. I enjoy the big, heavy characters. You may like one of the lighter and faster ones. But you'll see here, up top, we do have a life and a power meter, and you have special attacks that use regenerating power versus the standard special attacks in beat 'em ups where it takes a little bit of your life bar away. I get that trading life bar for a special attack is a mechanic, but it always felt like a mechanic that was meant to separate you from your quarters quicker, because if a boss wasn't taking your health and you wanted to use your specials, you were going to take your own health to get closer to pumping a new quarter in. Guardians feel like a way fairer version of that same system. And if you take a look in the back and you see that star, apparently Carl's Jr. and Hardy's is canonically in the Guardians universe. I'm not sure if that's actually the Hardy star, but that's what it reminds me of. It seems like a fun observation to make. But if you enjoy beat 'em ups and you've never played Guardians, I 100% need you to play this game and leave me a comment down below after you're done telling me what you think, because I really genuinely believe you're going to enjoy it as much as I have. And if you have played Guardians, leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think about it, because I love this game and I wish I saw it mentioned more. But short of that, that's Guardians. Is an incredible game. If you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It definitely helps us out. I'll be back next Sunday with another episode of the Unported playlist, and I'll have videos on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as well. But 100%, if this game is new to you, go and play it directly after the video is over. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.